Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to see the history of SQL. What is history of SQL? And before going into history of SQL details, so what is a data and what is the importance of data? Data is nothing but it is information. It could be any kind of information like HR information, finance, CRM, sales information, any kind of information which we can treat it, which is value for the business. So we can treat that as a data. So how in olden days data is storing? So it is storing in the form of a flat file model. What exactly the flat file model is? The data, assume we have a employee information which is storing in the form of comma separated version, tab separated, or pipe separated, any special character separated, which is residing in the form of a txt file. These files are storing in the servers. From the servers, the data is retrieving to access this data. For example, so we have an employee information. So employee ID, employee name, employee date of joining. So this information which is storing in this form in a comma separated version in olden days. So this they are storing in the form of .txt format. From there it was retrieving. It is very hard and cumbersome activity to retrieve if we want any specific record or if we want to do any kind of a manipulation like a DML operations, insert, update, delete. So it is very quite complicated. And also if we want to establish, if they want to establish any relation between the flat files, like sales information in one flat file and employee information in other flat file. So this kind of information is very quite complicated. So this model is not fit that time. So they came with the next model, hierarchy model and network model. So hierarchy and model is nothing but the data is storing in the form of a tree, hierarchical manner, tree structured. So even network model, it also came in the 1960 and 1970. Network model storing the data in the form of graph view. So graphical view, the data is storing. These are all the models actually having limitations. So those limitations lack in flexibility, querying, manipulating the data. So data integrity are constraints. These limitations or drawbacks which cannot be performed with above models. That is where the birth of a relational model of SQL came into market in 1970. So this was introduced by E.F. Codd, the famous scientist. So he was proposed a relational model which was the trend set for the SQL. And this relational model actually, what exactly the relational model? So relational model, it contains a key concepts of tables and maintaining a relations between the tables. So what exactly the table? Table is nothing but it is a combination of rows and columns. The data is storing in the form of rows and columns in the table. So we can establish the relation between the tables in the using the primary key and foreign key constraints. So primary key is nothing but it is a unique identifier for each row in a table, and foreign key actually establish the relation between the tables. So these concepts in future we are going to start, and we can go in depth, and also we can see it in practical. So this is where exactly the SQL concept came into market. So this approach, it was in 1990 on top of these concepts of SQL. So there are a lot of product companies came into the market with their own products, like Oracle came into the market with Oracle databases and PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, and IBM DB2. So there are a lot of products came into the market with the concept of these relational database management system. The overview of databases. What is a database? Database is a collection of data stored in organized format in the form of a table. So to manage the database tables, there is a concept of database management system. So DBMS is nothing but database management system, which it manages the creation, maintenance, and ensuring security, backup, recovery, and data integrity. So maintenance of all these databases. SQL. What is SQL? SQL is nothing but structured query language. In short, we will be calling it as SQL. Sometimes some people will call it as SQL. So SQL is a standard programming database language. It is used for managing and manipulating relational databases. And we have a different databases in the market, not only relational, we have a non-relational databases as well. So when it comes to the types of databases, we have a RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So relational database management system, with these concepts, there are products came into the market, as I was mentioned before. MySQL, PostgreSQL, MS SQL Server, Oracle DB, IBM DB2. And there are other couple of products in the market. So these are the popular products which were used as a database, as a RDBMS concepts. So there is other database type, which is a NoSQL. Couple of products came into the market: MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase. So these NoSQL, exactly what to retrieve the data is, it is going to use for the columnar databases, and also whenever the documentation purposes is using, so these databases will be used. We can see the differences in depth in upcoming sessions. Redis is also one of these. So coming to the distributed databases. So nowadays cloud is more popular in the market. So each cloud provider like Google, Amazon, so they are distributed, they are providing a distributed databases. It's nothing but the databases are horizontally scaling and residing in different locations, and these are very much popular in retrieving and manipulating the data in the database servers. It access like petabytes of data easily in seconds and milliseconds. So these distributed databases are very much popular nowadays. These are using in cloud computing. Coming to the next model is a database is like object oriented. This is not much used, but this is also a part of a database type. And as you know, like this is absolute right now, hierarchical and network. So these are the one of the database types we can consider.